What up, peeps? Wow, 2 videos in 1 day. Okay, today what we learned in class, we learned something extremely important that you need for higher level math when you go to high school, which is all about square roots, okay? Square roots, I don't know if you ever noticed, seen this symbol. Okay, this right here is the square root symbol. We also call the square root as radical. So radical and square root are synonymous, they mean the same thing. Now, right here, I listed all the square roots that you normally need to know. Okay, I gave you a little cutout in your notebook. I made you glue it in your notebook. Okay, here it just goes up to the square root of 100, but I'm expecting you guys to know all the way to the square root of 225. Again, this is a major topic, especially when you're talking about higher level mathematics, when we're going to go over the Pythagorean theorem next semester, or when you go to, again, higher level math, such as the quadratic formula when you're trying to factor binomials and trinomials and all that good stuff. Okay, so let's go over what a square root is. A square root basically tells you is what two numbers, when you multiply, well, let me give you an example. Square root of 4, okay? What it's pretty much saying is, what are two numbers that are the same? They have to be the same, that when you multiply them, give you 4. Okay, once again, let me repeat that. What two numbers that are the same, when you multiply them, gives you 4? So the answer, hopefully, is 2, right? 2 times 2 is 4. So therefore, the square root of 4 is going to be 2. You're done. That's it. Because 2 times 2 is 4. And it's right here as well. Okay, and we just need to add a symbol. It's actually positive negative 2. The reason why is positive 2 times positive 2 is 4. That's why we have a positive sign. But do you also agree that if I multiply negative 2 times negative 2, that will also give me a positive 4? So that's why we put a minus sign as well. So that's why it's positive negative, because both positive 2 and negative 2 will give you 4. To get a visual representation this is a conceptual understanding of square roots. Square, obviously we're going to draw a square, okay? That does not look like a perfect square, but assume that it is a perfect square. In mathematics, something that you need to remember about a square is that all sides are equal, okay? The square root of 4, this 4 represents the area. The area of the square. The area of the square is 4, okay? So what you're trying to find out, what you're looking for the square root of a number is, what are the lengths? What is the length of one of those squares? And in this case, hopefully, you'll say, well, Hernandez, it's 2, because 2 times 2 will give me the 4, or the area 4 of the square. So that's a conceptual way of thinking about a square root. Okay, or you can also remember, what two numbers that are identical gives you that number inside the square root. Let's try a couple of them. Try not looking right here, because you'll find the answers right here. You just have to start memorizing, people. The way I remembered them, and I told you a trick, is I just went in order, like 1 times 1, square root of 1. 2 times 2, square root of 4. 3 times 3, square root of 9. Okay, just go in order. Let's do another one. Number 2, square root of 64. Okay, again, you have your square, the area 64. You know that all the sides of a square are equal. So what are the dimensions of the square in order for you to get it 64? Or another way of thinking about it is, what two numbers that are identical give you 64? And hopefully you said 8. Why? Because 8 times 8 gives you 64. And don't forget, it's positive, negative. And there you go. You're done. Square root of 64, or the radical of 64, is positive, negative 8. Let's do another one. Number 3. Again, don't look over there. Square root of 36. What two numbers that when you multiply them together gives you 36? What two numbers that when you multiply the side times the side of the square gives you an area of 36? Well, it's 6. So the answer right here is positive, negative 6. You're done. Again, some of you guys are thinking like, wait, Hernandez, you could also do 4 times 9. But ladies and gentlemen, are 4 and 9 the same number? No, they're not. And also, think about a square. A square has equal sides. You can't have a length of 4 and another length of 9 on a square. They all have to be the same. So that doesn't work. You could also think maybe 18 times 2. That gives you 36. But no, it doesn't work because these numbers have to be the same. Once again, the numbers need to be the same. Okay, let's do another one. Let's do square root of 81 over 144. Made it up. Don't be scared. It looks scary at first. It's actually very easy. Just break it up, okay? Do the square root of 81 first. What's the square root of 81? Yeah, 9. Because 9 times 9 gives you 81. What's the square root of 144? Hopefully you said 12. Because 12 times 12 is 144. Don't forget your plus and minus, and you're done. Now, if you can simplify your fractions, go ahead and simplify them. So in this case, I'm going to divide by 3, or simplify by 3. So then this is 3/4, positive, negative, and there you go. Again, memorize the square roots. That's the best way of doing these problems. Okay? So this is your quick intro of how to basically solve the square root. It's pretty simple. Remember, you need to find out two numbers that are identical, that when you multiply them, gives you the number inside the square root. On the following videos, we're going to complicate this whole concept of square roots, such as when we add something like this. Oh, it looks hard, but it's actually very easy. You just have to go step by step. And then we're going to introduce you on the following video, we're going to introduce you to these things called cube roots, which act very similar to your square roots, but they're just a little bit different. Instead of asking yourself, well, what are two numbers that when you multiply them together gives you the number inside the radical? Now, cube means 3, okay, because a cube, 3 sides. Then you're going to have to find out what 3 numbers that are the same gives you the number inside the radical. But that's on the future lessons. Right now, make sure you memorize these square roots here, okay, and kind of know how to manipulate these fractions inside the square roots and things like that. And you will be fine in the future lessons. Okay, and that's it.